Why is it now? Why is it happening? Of course, we don't know. We don't know for sure. There are many political reasons that are given, and one which is quite interesting and probably has more than a grain of truth is that the extreme Muslims have seen the success, or at least the existence, of the Islamic movement, and they see, even with the United States opposing it and fighting against it, and Iraq and Syria as well, and yet they survived. That gave them a sense of, well, we can do the same. And that might be one of the political reasons. We know there's a tremendous amount of incitement here in Israel from the Palestinian Authority, from Hamas, and from the Islamic movement. But one thing we also know, the political, social, and economic causes are only the surface, only superficial. Because beyond the surface, there has to be a cause which affects our people. Chazal tell us that even the ships that sail between France and Spain, the wind that blows their sails does so because of Am Yisrael, because of our people. Nothing is arbitrary. Nothing is coincidental. It's all tied to the destiny and the tasks, the purpose of our nation. I just want to tell you a story which probably most people would consider insignificant. But it's something which we can experience and we can feel. A 9-year-old girl here in Israel, 9 years old, little girl, came home from school and told her Ima, Mommy, there was a pegua. There was a terrorist incident. Her mother was sort of surprised that she knew what that was. And then she went on to say, and a 13-year-old boy was stabbed, was hurt. A 13-year-old boy. And you know, this little 9-year-old girl cried the entire night. No matter what her mother tried to do to console her, it didn't work. That's the traumatic experience. It doesn't make headlines, but it makes for aching hearts. And when we hear about these things, we hear about Acheinu, about our brothers here in Eretz Yisrael. What is our response? What can we do? And I want to learn with you a few laws of the Rambam. The Rambam in Hilchos Tainis, the laws of fasting, and begins in telling us something which might not be common knowledge to everyone. And that is that there is a mitzvahs aseh min Torah, That means a positive commandment from the Torah. To cry out. And when we had them to blow the chatzotzeros, the trumpets, on every tzara, on every tragedy, on every calamity, on every sorrow, shetavo al hatzibur, that comes upon the public. Shne'emar al hatzah hatzoreh etchem, klomar, kol davar, everything that causes pain to you, whether it's illnesses or famine or threats of war and terror, everything which causes tsar, there's a mitzvah of the deraisa, of the Torah, to cry out to Hashem. And the Rambam continues in Halacha Beis that this thing is meidarchei a tshuva. This is part of tshuva. That when something occurs, and we cry out to Hashem, Yedu, all the people will know that it's because of our actions, our bad actions, that this has happened. And being aware that nothing is arbitrary, that there's a cause, and that we're ready to do tshuva, return to Hashem, that will enable us to remove the pain, to escape from the pain. Aval im lo yiza'aku, but if we don't cry, v'lo yiriu, ele yamru davar zeh me'minhag ha'olam, we should say this is the way the world works. There's wars in the world, there's terror in the world. This is how the world works. That's why it happened. And this Torah is incidental. Harei zu derech achzorius, that's cruelty. Ugoremis lehem, and it causes the people to continue their inadequate ways. And v'taisiv atzara tzara sacher, and to that sorrow will come other sorrows. And that's what it says in the pasuk in the Torah. V'nachtem imi bekeri, alachti imachem bechamas keri. If you treat what happens in the world as coincidental, I will also not give you the siyata shemaya, the special help that Hashem gives us to remove the pain. And that's what the Rambam says. That when we have a sorrow, when we have a difficult time, when children are traumatized and not sleeping at night, when people are afraid to walk the streets, when the shuk, which is usually crowded, is empty, and of course people carry around these pepper spray, right? When such things happen, we have to cry to Hashem. We have to cry to Hashem. Maybe the beneath the surface reason for all these things is that Hashem wants us to return to Him and to cry to Hashem. And to be aware that it's His world. He's being mashgiach over us. But that's our response. That has to be our response. Tefillas, prayers, tehillim. It can make a difference. It makes a difference. That's our response. But there's something the Rambam said that I think needs explanation. Rambam said that if you don't cry to Hashem and you look upon everything as coincidental, so that's cruelty. I understand it's not the proper perspective, but why is it cruelty? So I really never saw an explanation of this, but I'd like to just venture a guess. If we look upon the events of history and say they are coincidental, then in a way we're saying that Hashem is cruel. Hashem is cruel. The orphans crying at the funeral, the children not sleeping at night. Hashem is cruel. And if we're saying that Hashem is cruel, if it's arbitrary, if it's for no purpose, it's not for the ultimate benefit of ourselves and of all of Klal Yisrael and humanity, if it's just coincidental, then we're saying, in effect, that Hashem is cruel, chas v'sholom. But we're saying Hashem is cruel, then the chances are we're projecting our own cruelty on Hashem. We're projecting our own cruelty on Hashem. That's why the Ram says that if we don't cry to Hashem, we don't open our hearts in Tehillah and in Tefillah, then it's cruelty. No one knows what the future will bring. Hopefully today was a quiet day in Yerushalayim. Hopefully it will continue. But there are those who say that now, after what happened in Beersheba yesterday, that now is the time. They've told the Hamas, others have told, the Islamic movement has told the Palestinians that now's the time, forget about knives, let's go to guns and bombs and suicides. We don't know. Nobody knows. But there's one thing that we do know, and that is if all of the Jewish people, if all of Klal Yisrael, if all of Achenu, wherever they are, open their hearts, daven, say Tehillim, cry to Hashem, ask Hashem to restore the tranquility and quiet and peace to our land, and to protect our people in all the lands of the exile. If we open our hearts, Hashem will listen and answer our tefillas. May we, together with Achenu B'nai Israel, with all our brothers, lift our voices to Hashem, open our hearts in prayer, and remove from us the pestilence of this terrorism.